Registro antes de comenzar sus comentarios. Al ser llamado, por favor, forme una fila en el orden anunciado. Disponemos de 2 podios para su comodidad. Diríjase a cualquiera de ellos tan pronto como se le llame su nombre. Si necesita interpretación en español, tenemos un intérprete presente. Por favor, levante la mano en este momento para indicar que requiere servicios. También tenemos aparatos disponibles para escuchar la junta en español.
Thank you. Gracias. We have 33 speakers tonight, and each speaker will have 3 minutes. Madam City Clerk, please call up the speakers.
Okay. Mayor, if I may make a brief announcement. So I was just made aware that there is an issue with YouTube, and so our YouTube stream is not working, but the meeting is streaming on IEMG for the public.
Thank you for that information.
Al Palazzo, Mike Hartley, Christian Shaughnessy, Kim Calvin, Luis Ojeda, Eric Marquez, Georgia L., Sharon Negretti, Joe Solis, Jim Smith, Ronika Galande, John Schollenberger, Scott Olson, Charles Berg, and John Tex Williams.
You may begin.
Mayor, council members, city manager. Let us create jobs for the people. Let us start rebuilding our downtown by focusing on the people here in San Bernardino. Downtowns have shops, stores with merchandise. We actually have many at the Discount Mall on 9th and Waterman that would be appropriate for a downtown. But they are not in the right buildings with display windows like Victoria Gardens, facing a sidewalk for a promenade with pedestrians and vehicles passing by. The next time you enter the front of this building, pause where the walls meet the glass doors and windows. That is a space double the size of 3 stalls in the Discount Mall. Give me a few investors, builders, local people, building small, inexpensive skeleton frame type buildings from F to Arrowhead on 5th Street, back to 4th and 6th. And you will have the Victoria Gardens type buildings on South Main Street in Rancho with large windows for mannequins to show the merchandise inside. You will have about 24 shops. We'll call it our 5th Avenue, like Manhattan. It can be a start in bringing more small shops to the downtown owned by local people, small businesses. If you really want to up your game, the 2 buildings on 4th Street in Rancho Cucamonga, east of Sonics, they have spectacular architecture with 2-story display windows for shops and fine dining steakhouse restaurants. I was there this weekend in a building with Mediterranean architecture, much like Rome. The Carousel Mall would be more like Citrus Plaza in Redlands or the Renaissance in Rialto with big retail stores like Old Navy, Burlington, Barnes & Noble, etc. Let us not delay on the construction of the amphitheater on the south side of the old wards. You have the land and it is already excavated sloping. I would reach out to the people in San Bernardino by putting on workshops every Saturday for 4 hours here in the library to explain rebuilding San Bernardino in detail on Mount Vernon, on Waterman, on Highland, on Baseline, and all the area in between, if I was lucky to be part of your staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, people of the great city of San Bernardino. My name is Christian Shaughnessy. First off, I just want to give utmost thanks to city staff, city council, honorable mayor, for yesterday's wonderful, wonderful State of the City event. I'd also like to give thanks to the fine men and women of our San Bernardino Police Department for guarding us as we proceeded through the event in this time of political violence. They're guarding us while we sleep and while we talk and while we give updates on the city's progress is very much appreciated. For the mainstay of my public comment tonight, though, I did want to ask for some clarity regarding the language that was found in the packet for Alternative 3 of the Oxbow item agenda. In particular, it was put down in paper that the crushed and grinded future infill debris would eventually be used for future residential development. And so in the interest of the great principle of informed consent, I wanted to ask the council today, do we know that? Do we know that the infill would be used to construct more housing? I'm somebody that, needless to say, is very passionate about building more housing in our city, increasing the housing stock. But we've already had many people, including my father, who's a disabled veteran who lives on Shepherd. They've experienced the problem of dust hitting one's vehicles, of dust hitting one's windows. And so I think it would be very important to make clear to the community specifically how long said hypothetical future infill would actually be at the site. No doubt there will be many people coming to the microphone tonight to ask the fair-minded question regarding that. I wanted to add to that as well. Because for many years now, the Oxbow site has been, unfortunately, a symbol of past dysfunction over in the city of San Bernardino. And so I think that if there's anything that we can do in the nonprofit world, if there's anything council members can do to collaborate with each other to actually mitigate harms and to get things done, please let us know. Let's persevere, move forward. Let's mitigate those harms, the noise, the dust, pollution, carcinogens, and then let's do everything we can to work together as was laid out in the spirit of the state of the city last night. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Please turn on the mic. Yes, thank you.
Hello, greeting council members. My name is Charles Burge. I have a small company called Max Racks Incorporated. We resell metal products, and as of our actions, we reduce CO2 in the world. No chemicals are used, no parked cars, one forklift in top condition. I have survived 4 heart attacks and was dead for 5 minutes. I am still alive because I work. My heart is at 35%, and I want to continue to work. My goal in this meeting is to have code enforcement close its complaint against me, even if only for a year or so, giving me time to find a new storage yard. My business is struggling at 1086 South Washington near Orange Show. I'm a tenant at this location for 5 years and a business owner in San Bernardino 20 years. This new code enforcement officer, Jennifer Palestino, has overturned all the prior code enforcement officers' inspections over the last 5 years. The prior inspection in January was from Bernardo Guerion. He was done and completed. All of his citations and corrections were addressed and completed to his satisfaction. After a follow-up visit, he said all is good in the property, and I thanked him. We shook hands. He left. I was under the impression the case was closed. So I continued buying and operating my business at this property and was hit with 6, and the landlord, I'm only a tenant, the landlord was hit with 6 new citations and penalties to the homeowner directly in July. I'm now facing eviction. The homeowner wants 0 trouble. I have been told I must move because the property is residential, but it has been used for many years as light industrial. For the record, I'd like to say this property has always been used for cars, impound lot, lots of gas and oil, old tires. I am very good, clean air, doing my part for the environment. In closing, please let me be in your city to work and live. my days reselling metal. Each piece I sell helps the world a tiny little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry if I went over.
No worries. Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good evening. My name is Luis Ojeda, and I just want to say, great job, staff. I was pleasantly surprised. You guys amazed me, and see, we can do it. We can do it. Just a matter of putting a little bit of heart and mind to it, right? So let's keep going. It's just the beginning, right? Well, let me talk about Oxford, right? Everybody wants to be the savior or something. I want to tell you something. I know a little bit about trucks because I own a trucking company for 30 years. So I don't pretend to be an expert on it, but I just know a little bit. I feel that the best option, okay, is to crash on site. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I've been on Palm during the rush hour, and it's a nightmare with traffic. Just imagine hundreds of trucks going up and down for weeks, I don't know, maybe months. Plus the pollution, plus the damage to the road, plus the dust it's going to create. Now, I just want people to think about this, right? I'm sure that many of us have seen the mountains of crushed concrete besides the freeways when they're doing any expansion or something. Millions of cars go by every day. Nobody says anything. Nobody complains about it. So why isn't it different, you know? Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact that it's not contaminated because, as you know, we've been talking about this for years, and they said that it's not contaminated. They already did some studies, and it's good, right? So now, let me change the subject a little bit, but it's kind of on the same subject in a way. Right now, everybody talks about homeless. Have you guys noticed the amount of homeless people that are moving to that area? And what do you think is the reason? There's nobody there. That's what they like. They don't like to be bothered. So, but there's a company, JFR Homes. I know Mr. Felix Robles, you know, he's been trying to do good in that area, investing in that area. And even though he's trying to do his best, you know, sometimes people complain about it. But last Saturday, I went to an event. The Highlanders boxing gym moved into the property there. There's a house that he's letting them use. And we need to talk about something, is talk about the youth. Tony Cifuentes with the Highlanders Boxing Club is doing a great job, and he just moved to San Bernardino. And I think that we need to get behind this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
John Tex Williams, Barstow. I serve on the city council in Barstow, and I wanted to come down and share my gratitude to what you guys do, because we all have to work together and to make this high desert, to make this Inland Empire the best it can be. With that said, I am so proud of being friends with Councilwoman Dr. Ortiz. We share the same values of making sure that the public knows what's going on. I'm on Facebook a lot, and what I basically do is make sure our residents understand what is going on in our cities. I think we're losing that. I think we sit back too much behind the tables, and we don't share what is actually going on with our residents. So I want to share a little bit what is going on in Barstow, because we have one of your past employees, Rochelle Clayton, as our new city manager. And what we are seeing in our city is parks exploding with quality that we've never seen before, that we're seeing our roads and our streets being completely redone. We are changing what we're doing. And I want you guys to know that you're a part of that now, because your past city assistant manager is now up there doing the great work up there with us. And so seeing that and feeling that going through is really something special. But I want you guys to remind you guys, we work for the people. You don't work for yourself. We don't answer to ourselves. We don't sit behind closed doors and make decisions for our own benefit. We do it for our residents. And I want you guys to know I appreciate what you do. And your problems here in San Bernardino are the same problems we have everywhere. No matter how big or small your city is, funding will always be an issue. So when you're up complaining about our streets, even down here or in Barstow, wherever you're at, just remember, funding is the #1 problem. That is something that we all have to fight for. And you see where cities are going after grants. You see where everyone is trying to go find that extra dollar. These are very hard decisions. And I got to honor you guys. I respect you guys. And what you have to do, and you can't, some of the things you can't tell the public, you should be proud of yourself. It's not an easy job. Anybody who thinks it is an easy job, run for a seat. Find out how bad it really is and what difficult things you got to make and what decisions you have to do and who benefits and who doesn't. And you guys have to make that decision. And I want to tell you, I'm proud of you guys. It's a very difficult job, and you guys should all be proud of yourself to serve the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please state your name.
John Schollenberger, 7th Ward, City of San Bernardino. I want to speak to the Oxbow situation. Let's rewind the tape and see how we got to this moment in the first place. The root cause, former Mayor John Valdivia. He is responsible for this. Having all those trucks dumping that concrete up there in the Oxbow in that beautiful Verdamont neighborhood. That's a beautiful neighborhood. And these people were feeling powerless to watch all this stuff go down. Okay, he's the root cause of this stuff. Now, Ron Lewis, who used to be on the Planning Commission, told me he did some extensive research on this. And yes, that concrete is toxic laden. And the silica dust and everything else, he went into detail. I don't have time to do it. Okay, April 7, 2021, the council voted 4-3 to use $2 million in funds to take action and get this thing cleaned up. Valdivia vetoed it on April 8th, the next day, continuing the problem. Okay, this needs to get done. Crushing and grinding is not allowed in the city of San Bernardino. Get it through your head, it's not allowed, regardless, okay? Trucks going up there and taking it out of there chunk by chunk is really the only viable solution at this point. And they talk about, oh, there's gonna be
We are back. It's 6:55, a little more than 5 minutes, so thank you so much for your patience. Okay, we're moving on to discussion items. First one, item number 10, approve a city clerk employment agreement. And let's see. Council members, any comments? Who would like to start?
On which item?
This is the approve a city clerk employment agreement.
Move to approve.
And I will second.
Do you want to? Yeah. Councilwoman Ortiz? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. So tonight before us is another employment contract. And before I begin to go over my points, I want to first preface by saying that this has nothing to do with Ms. Lopez. You can remove the name from everything that I'm going to say. 4 years ago when she was appointed, congratulated her. It's not a personal thing. What it is the status quo. What it is, in my opinion, is a continued affront to what we continue to do wrong. And what it does is creates then this problem. When the previous city clerk was leaving the city, former interim city manager Bill Gallardo put an item on the agenda for us to talk about recruiting for a new city clerk. That item was immediately dismissed by the council because they didn't request it. They didn't ask for it. And the council controls who hires, recruits, and discusses the city clerk. So we went with the acting position. Even though during the midst of that we were recruiting for a city manager, we could have put a contract together and done both at the same time as a cost saver. But we didn't do that. We stayed with an interim. When we talk about money, well, we don't want to expend extra funds. The city paid $30,000 this year in a settlement agreement because we withheld public records. So we obviously know that there are issues, procedural issues, act issues. So going out for recruitment and making sure that we are recruiting people who know precisely what to do to make sure and ensure we are not sued for withholding public records seemed like a value. On top of that, none of us requested this item to be put on the agenda. Neither the mayor nor the council asked to hire a city clerk. We furthermore did not ask to have a salary survey conducted so that we could raise the limit of how much we pay someone. All of this conducted through staff. Why do you need a council? What is the purpose of the charter? I don't know yet. In addition, I cannot and will not ever hire someone if I have never even reviewed their resume, which none of us did before the first vote was asked for and counted for. On top of that, I can't not hire you without seeing your resume, nor ever being able to ask a single question of a candidate. How many of you are out here getting jobs, not submitting resumes, and not taking interviews out of the kindness and goodness of whose heart on the taxpayer's dollar? These are hard things. You know why? Because I really am a process person. Because as my students who are watching tonight are learning, practice and theory are two very interesting things. And your practices create precedences, and your precedences create standards of which other people either accept or challenge you legally. Because how many previous employees have had to leave this city to go get a better opportunity somewhere else? Because the job description requires 7 years of experience, not 4. The current salary is capped, but we're going to raise it to $161,000, and in 6 months, provide an additional 5% to $168,000 a year. When we just months ago asked every department to take a 5% cut and freeze essential hiring for their positions. So don't worry about code enforcement. Don't worry, Public Works, what you need. Animal control, don't even ask, because let's continue to burden these people. Why? Because, the council likes. The council's discretion. That's a problem for me. The city manager's recruitment was hijacked by council. Friday and Sunday nights. Now you don't even get a process. This is what's wrong with San Bernardino. 100%. Now, I want succession planning in this city. I love the idea of succession planning, of building people up to prepare them to take over. It's what we hope for. And sometimes when opportunities come for promotion and you don't quite meet that standard, it sucks. But what it gives us an opportunity to do is to make sure that we are still building upon and going into our employees to make sure they are ready when these opportunities happen. But you don't cut it in half and then give it a $60,000 raise. Just do it right. with an interview and with a frickin' resume, just a resume at hand, instead of what always happens, which are behind the door discussions. And this is nothing more than that. Here we are, doing what we always got to do. And now, yeah, it'll probably pass, because why not? Why ever take a moment to stop, to revisit what is now in public? Because God, I love when things come out of closed session and onto an open agenda. Because this is what you guys need to see, what happens behind closed doors. When I love Ray and I appreciate him, but I'm gonna tell you something, you better take everything that happens in this city personally, because this is your money. You want me to go in your pocket and tell you not to take it personally? That is not okay. We have a great opportunity here to recruit in our city. We may have the absolute best person possible in our city, but because of everything I listed, I can't in good faith do it to you, because I can't go along to get along. And I would never ask the residents to allow me to get a job without interviewing, without a resume, and on top of that, give me $60,000, $58,000 raise when we can barely pave your streets, when we can't even hire the essential employees. So, my vote, like I said, it's a process, and there is no process. This is a failed attempt again, and you just get to watch it play out publicly. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mayor, if I may.
Councilwoman. Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes, first of all, it took everything in me not to interrupt, to dispel all the lies that were just said. But I want to take this chance to apologize to you, Talisha. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'd like to call for the question.
The only lie is what's coming out of your mouth, council member. Every single thing I told you is
Councilmember,
true.
please.
Every single
Councilmember,
thing.
okay.
It's the beauty of the
Please
public
take order.
record.
Thank you.
Councilmembers?
I didn't interrupt.
Councilmembers? Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, so I'd like to read out the economic terms of the contract. So the first are the salary terms. Commencing on the effective date of the contract, the employee's annual base salary will be $161,000. The salary is scheduled to increase to $169,000 beginning April 5th, 2026, subject to a professional evaluation and execution of a written contract amendment. That deviates slightly from what was in the posted agenda packet. Originally, that increase was going to happen January 5th, 2026, without a professional evaluation. So now it is proposed to go up April 5th, 2026, subject to an evaluation and an executed contract amendment. Following that, on August 4th, 2026, and each year thereafter, the employee's annual salary will be automatically increased according to the Consumer Price Index with a maximum increase of 3%. Health insurance. The city clerk will receive a city contribution in accordance with the Executive Compensation and Benefits Plan Resolution. Vehicle allowance. The city clerk shall receive $725 per pay period for use of her personal vehicle for city business. Paid leave. Vacation, sick, administrative, and other. The city clerk shall receive leave and accrue in accordance with the agreement and the Executive Compensation and Benefits Plan Resolution. At-will employee. City clerk shall serve at the will and pleasure of the mayor and city council. Nothing in the employment agreement shall prevent, limit, or otherwise interfere with the right of the city council to suspend from duty, remove from office, or otherwise terminate the services of the employee at any time, at the sole discretion of the mayor and city council. Severance. The city clerk shall be entitled to and receive upon termination a severance payment equivalent to 6 months' base salary plus benefits in effect on her termination date. And lastly, performance evaluation. The city council shall review the city clerk's job performance at least once annually. The city clerk shall remind the city council of its obligations under this section each year and shall work with the city council in finding an appropriate time to place her evaluation on the agenda. The city council may also review the city clerk's performance at other intervals as it deems appropriate. In connection with the review of the city clerk's job performance, the city shall utilize resolution number 94-392 and shall consider a step increase of employees' base annual salary. That concludes my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from? I do have a question. Yes, Councilmember Ortiz.
I just want to ask the city attorney, because you know we love public records. So I'd like to share my email with the public of how we didn't have the resume we received. Not the resume, I don't want to share the resume, but I want to share that the email that we received showing us that I had requested an email. Is that okay to share as long as I don't share the resume? Because I want everybody to understand the time between when the vote was announced, we did not have a resume, and afterwards. Is that okay as long as I don't give the resume to the public?
I don't recall the contents of that email.
Okay. Show it to you first?
Perhaps we could confer offline because I want to ensure that there's no confidential personnel details in that email.
Okay.
If there are not, then you could release it, but let's confer offline about that.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Councilmember Charette?
Yeah, thank you. A recruitment certainly is a usual and a good tool to use, but it is not the end-all, be-all. We recently had an acting city manager that didn't even have a master's degree, and some of the people up on this dais were interested in making that person a permanent city manager, did not even have a master's degree, and very limited city management experience. Pardon me. It was said that it was put on, or that was requested that we go to a recruitment process by Bill Gallardo, and that we didn't want that. We didn't want that. It isn't that we didn't want it. We didn't believe we needed it, because we had somebody that had been with our city for a long time. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but upwards of 20 years, working in this department, had worked up the ladder, and was recommended by our former city clerk, who was stellar. At best, she was stellar. At least she was stellar. And we lost her. And Talisha is more than qualified, has all of the qualifications necessary, and I've seen resumes that aren't worth the paper they're written on because they're all lies. So a resume isn't necessarily the right thing either. So when you've got someone in your organization that is capable and is qualified and has the experience as being a deputy or an assistant and is able to move into that, there's no reason whatsoever to go out, spend time, effort, and what have you. If you don't have somebody, if you've got, then certainly the right thing to do would be to offer the job and have interviews. But we at the city knew this person. We knew the qualifications she had. We knew the job she had performed in this office or in this department for many, many years. So that is the reason we did not need to go out for any recruitment. And I can also say that I think we've done a lot of recruiting in this city that has not worked out real well. And so I think we should look at some of the recruitments we did, and we believed those, and we interviewed them, and we finally hired them, and how did that work out in some of those many cases? So the question's been called for. I will move approval on this, or has there been a motion? It was a motion or a call for the question? Okay, I'll move approval.
There was already a motion second for the current as is. And Mr. City Attorney clarified the revisions. So would that require, and I guess I need to ask the question.
Who made the motion? Do you agree?
Yes,
Do you agree with how I read it?
And I'll
As
second
part of your
that.
motion? Okay.
Or whoever did. That's not important to me.
Any other comments? Councilmember Ortiz?
Yeah, I think Councilman Charette makes an amazing point, that to not be happy that someone didn't have a master's degree when it wasn't even required. But will then turn around and take half the experience in a department is the problem. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that this is a wonderful person. What matters is resumes matter. Interview questions matter. Understanding what we want in a position matters. And as someone who's been here for 10 months and has had 5 months of experience with a current interim, that's not adequate, sufficient time to make sure that we are doing what's in the best interest of the city. I get it's 16 years of the same old, but here, why do we see the turnover? Why do we watch what's happening? Because this is what it's like to work in the city. How many employees want to keep showing up every day, busting their butt, hoping that they're going to be acknowledged? How many interims right now, animal control, park and recreation, public works, have to go through interviews to become directors? And top of that, get raises. So it is what it is because it is always what it is. But let's not sit here and disparage someone because they didn't have an optional recommended degree when you require 7 years and you're cutting it in half and giving it a $58,000 raise today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? I do have some comments. I have some questions regarding for staff. Ms. Lopez, please know this is not personal. This is about just questions and inquiries about process and so forth. For the job description, is there a verbiage regarding about combination of education experience under minimum qualification?
I believe there is. Yeah, it's the 7 years or a combination of with education and job experience. And as I understand, with the candidates in front of you, she spent many years in the city clerk's office, not in the city clerk position, obviously, or similar, but doing other things within the city clerk's office.
How many years in the city clerk's office?
Don't know exactly on that.
16.
16. Thank you for that. And sometimes I just want the public to know that the job description does have the caveat for combination of education and experience to make up for the user experience at times, and if they are capable of that, just as a former HR director. I also want to ask, thank you, Mr. City Attorney, for clarifying on the salary piece, because as is what is published in the public on the agenda, I do not agree. Because when we're adjusting salary significantly for a position, I asked a question about compaction about as far as series. So when you have a city clerk, assistant city clerk, deputy city clerk, and so forth going down the line, what are that compaction differences and so forth, and you have to address it, not just one-offs. And one of the things that I want to make sure that staff is looking at is not just one position in the city, that we need to be looking at all position. I understand that we're doing class and comp study right now. Please make sure we fulfill that, because this organization needs to start retaining jobs and employees in the city to do the great work of San Bernardino. And so that was my biggest concern, is that there was a proposed salary and a significant increase, and wish that was done in the budget process or through the class and comp study. But again, and just me speaking as an individual and as the mayor, I do support Ms. Lopez because of years' experience with the city of San Bernardino, and I do believe that she can do the job. But as far as the process, I wish we had a process for the recruitment, because there has been a trust issue with our recruitment process, and that would have helped alleviate that. But again, the majority of the council makes a decision to move things forward, and I'm one person. So I do have a vote into this appointment. And again, with the modification of the salary provision, I will be supporting this appointment tonight. So I just want to make sure that's on the record. Thank you. There's a motion and second with the modification as Mr. City Attorney spoke on the record for the contract. Please call for the votes.
The digital voting is open. Do you have the option on your screen? I can take the voice vote. Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Councilmember Charette?
Yes.
Councilmember Canas,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
and Councilmember Ortiz,
No.
and it looks like, and Mayor Tran.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes 6 to 1.
Ms. City Clerk?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. Moving on to item 11. Approve funding commitment for Lutheran Social Services San Bernardino Community Wellness Campus with Lutheran Social Service of Southern California and Dignity Moves. Could we begin with the staff's presentation?
I'd like to move to approve.
There's a motion and second. Any comments?
The only comment I have, and I know we touched upon this in the agenda review, we have committed significant amount of our ARPA allocations to this project. With this item that we may pass tonight, it is at now $6.7 million to be exact. I just want to make sure that we have serious discussions in regards to the ownership of beds with this project. I think that is necessary. I know it's been a conversation that we've had with our Deputy Director of Housing and Homelessness, and that importance of the City of San Bernardino actually having that availability of accessible beds. So I do hope that we can move on that conversation with Lutheran Services fairly quickly, being that we are possibly allocating these funding to this project.
Yes, so one of the provisions of the regulatory and loan agreement will be the prioritization of 24 beds for the City of San Bernardino's outreach teams.
If maybe we can have a discussion again, being that we are increasing the funding that we are allocating to this project, I would like to see more.
It was based on like the pro rata share of the funding because the total project cost is 32 and we've allocated 6.7.
Understand. Again, I would like to have that discussion if we can allocate more.
Yes, these can be, would you like, Councilmember, to make this approval contingent upon successfully increasing that, or do you want just to encourage staff to have those conversations?
I would encourage staff to have those conversations.
Councilmember Ortiz?
I need clarification on what were you just asked to do?
I guess negotiate more prioritized beds.
In the middle of this?
We're approving this tonight, but we want to direct staff to continue conversations to aggressively seek out a larger number of beds from this facility. Total of what, 200? Is it 180? How many is it? Beds total?
140?
200.
200, right?
200 total.
200 total, yeah. And if we can increase, it's always, that's always to our benefit. And so-
Again, we're increasing the amount of funding. With this option that we are going with the discussion item tonight, we're increasing 1.7 million of our ARPA allocations to this project, increasing it from 5 million to 6.7 million. Is that correct?
Yeah, and we should clarify that that is correct. So the whole campus has the 200, but the new build is only 140. So we're taking pretty much a lion's share of the beds.
But the 1.7 isn't ARPA though, is it?
No.
No, this
No,
is
it's
That's
going to
a
be
PLH
PLHA.
funding?
Yeah.
Again, if there is opportunity for discussion to increase the prioritized beds, it is a necessity in the city that we have access to beds when we are trying to remedy the homeless situation on our streets. So all I am saying is it warrants a discussion if we are able to have prioritized beds for the City of San Bernardino. We have funded a lot of allocation of our city funding, our taxpayer money, to our coast team. We have allocations that we just recently approved for the Salvation Army for outreach. But what I constantly hear is there's nowhere for the homeless individuals to go. We do not have open beds. I have a report that I received from our city manager that says we do not have bed availability. So I think it warrants a discussion is if there is any availability to have more prioritized beds with this project that we're allocating $6.7 million of our funding to, why not?
Yeah, Councilmember Canas, I just wanted to add one thing. So with the with the Lutheran Social Services, this addition of 140 beds, the city will still have access to those 140 beds, but specifically, this provision will allow 24 beds to be identified regardless of the situation.
I completely understand that. Again, I'm really wanting us to increase the prioritized beds for the city of San Bernardino. If we have any possible way of achieving that through this agreement, again, it's a discussion. I'm not making this item contingent upon the increase of beds, but I would like that discussion to be had. Again, we're allocating $6.7 million of our city funds. It warrants a discussion just to make sure that we have the necessary bed availability to remedy the homeless problem that we are facing. It is a crisis on our streets.
Mr. City Manager?
Councilmember Canas, I understand exactly what you're asking, and unless the council disagrees with you, we will take that back.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz?
Yeah, I mean, we're co-applicants on this application, so we're kind of tied in for this no matter what. And so I just want to, make sure we're having reasonable expectations, because there's a lot of conversation around going after other people's beds when we control 100 of the beds we have not built ourselves. So I just want to, because, now this is the public conversation, we want to make sure that this is built. And so no matter what, though, we have a financial obligation to see this through, whether they agree to it or not. Okay, just making sure. We didn't change anything on that. All right, thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion, a second. Councilmember Canas?
Yeah, so again, I want to clarify. We are not asking for any of the existing agreements to be changed. We're asking for discussion to be had. It would not impact this discussion item or the approval of this discussion item. I want to make that very clear. In addition, I would like to ask, how many current prioritized beds does the city of San Bernardino have currently?
We have 0 prioritized beds, which is why we had to utilize.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion, second. Please call for the votes, or use your digital voting, please. Madam City Clerk, Mayor Pro Tem, screen's not popping up.
Yes.
Councilmember Sanchez, your vote? And Councilmember Canas? Okay. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you, Council. Moving on to item 12, Oxbow debris removal, 6920 Palm Avenue. Could we begin with the staff's presentation?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Tonight, we would like to provide you with some of the information that have been gathered. Just kind of give you my perspective. When I came into the city and joined the Department of Community Development, one of the biggest folders on my desk was the Oxbow project. Everybody said, Oxbow, Oxbow. What is this Oxbow? It would explain to me that it's a pile of rubble that was moved from one location to the other, and it's been a source of concern in that neighborhood. I watched the city council videos and the meetings, and I saw the interaction between staff trying to present this information to the city council, and staff did not have any valid backup information to support whatever position they were espousing to the city council. And I came to the conclusion that the best way for us to provide information to the council to be transparent, so that it is not my recommendation or the recommendation of the property owner or the recommendation of whoever, it is an independent opinion. I spent money to find a consultant. They wrote a report, and tonight I'm going to present you with the report that they wrote. The consultant is in-house tonight to kind of answer any questions you may have regarding this project, because I know how controversial it has been in this community. So this is the site in question. It is the undeveloped site, kind of northwest area of that map you're looking at. This is before the rubble. This is actually a Google Earth map. You could see the surrounding residential development. Can you help, Mr. IT? So it was tentative track map 16794 is what basically allowed this subdivision to take place. It looks like my clicker. This is a view of the rubble in question. As you could see, how kind of disruptive it looks on that site. And this is the location of the project, looking at the neighborhood itself. You could see the shape of the property. And from a regional perspective, you could see it's the little kind of oblong-shaped, not really triangular, where it says project site. That is where this project sits. So background. In 2009, the Oxbow development was approved by the city of San Bernardino under track map 16794. It was an existing 18.45 acre parcel. The subdivision would allow for 44 single-family homes on lots with minimum size of about 10,000 square feet. In July of 2020. So the information I'm giving you in this background section of this report comes out of grand jury testimony. So this is not information that was made up. Somebody actually sat down under oath to give this information. In July of 2020, the owner submitted a TUP to allow the stockpile of materials for future grading of the site. That was the intent. The materials comprised of about 60,000 tons of concrete, and it took about 3,000 trucks, which originated from a demolished Amazon warehouse building at 2255 Lagonia in Redlands. This is the map of the subdivision, as you could see. So you have one way in and a second way out of the project itself. So in July of 2020, the then project owner, I talked about the CUP earlier, on August 4, 2020, the Public Works Department issued a haul permit to actually haul that waste to the project site for that purpose that was stipulated. In 2020, the City Council adopted Resolution 2020-265 on October 21. Basically, to summarize, this particular resolution would prohibit crushing of concrete materials, et cetera, within 1,000 feet of residentially zoned property. So, as I stated earlier, with the big bundle of paperwork in front of me, I reached out to CSG consultants to provide a comprehensive analysis of options available to the city for the removal of the Oxbow debris. We did not give the consultant a specific direction. Find us which option is the best. CSG teamed up with Kimley Horn, and they did some pretty thorough analysis of what options would be best environmentally. Politically, totally different, but environmentally. So they came up with 3 alternatives. Alternative 1 would result in the material being hauled off-site as either processed or unprocessed concrete. This would require truck hauling trips to occur along Palm Avenue.
Due to proximity of Palm Avenue to elementary school, the report recommended that the hauling operation for alternatives 1 and 2 occur during the school's summer recess session, which is approximately June or early August of any year that was selected. Alternative 1 involves crushing of the concrete debris on site, then hauling the processed concrete off-site to a recycling center. And this alternative is a variant of alternative 3, which is basically crush the concrete on site and use the concrete on site. And then there's alternative 1 and 1.1, which talks about the number of truck trips, the number of days it would take, 38 working days to complete. Alternative 1.2, using the use of single-ended dump trucks, which would take approximately 35 working days. And so these are some of the type of equipment mentioned. The picture to the right is a tool that will be used to break the concrete into manageable bits. The truck to the left is a single loaded truck which would haul the debris off the property if that alternative is selected. Alternative 1.2 includes the use of single-end dump trucks, which would take approximately 35 working days, 81 loads, 81 loaded and 81 empty. Alternative 2 involves the hauling of the unprocessed concrete debris off-site to a processing recycling location in the city of Rialto. The unprocessed concrete is anticipated to contain approximately 42,000 cubic yards of material. Therefore, it would take longer to remove the debris from the project site than the processed concrete would contain approximately 33,000 cubic yards of material if it was unprocessed and if it was processed. 42,000 cubic yards unprocessed, 33,000 cubic yards if the material is processed. The report also talks about the use of street sweepers. So as each truck is loading debris, street sweepers are recommended to go and basically sweep any kind of debris, dust, gravel, remnants, or whatever off the streets. And so we're talking about alternative 2.1, removing the entire concrete debris pile over one summer recess session. So the report not only talks about what is possible, the report also looks at, if we do it, when is the best time to do it? Some of the equipment that would be used to the right is something that we use to scrape material and put it into a crushing machine. And the picture to the left is a bobtail, which carriers could be attached to the end to kind of haul material off the site. I'm going to go to alternative 3. So alternative 3 is a variant of alternative 1. This alternative basically says, upon all the analysis that is available, this is the best environmental option. It is the one that will generate the least amount of negative impacts to the environment because it eliminates the number of trucks that will be traveling down Palm Avenue. And as you could see, the analysis did show that quite a few number of trucks will be going through there. And the danger of them operating when school is in session led the consultants to conclude that it should be done during the summer. So if it's done during the summer, it would take at least 2 summer sessions if we were going to move all that debris off the property. So we talked about crushing on site. The recommended crushing equipment is what you're looking at. I think it's called a loco track 969 or something of that nature. But the next slide here actually represents that particular truck doing the crushing. Thank you. So if alternative 3 is selected as the preferred option, there's a remediation plan that has been recommended. So not only are we recommending that alternative 3 be utilized, there's also a remediation plan that goes along with it, which means we have to plan the time of day, the time of the year, the time of the month, and also for every crushing activity, it is not the fire department, it is not the police department, it is the Air Quality Management District. So I've listened to people opine that the fire department should be doing this. AQMD issues crushing permits, and they would monitor that operation when it begins. But we have to coordinate with the property owner as to when that actually would take place. So the analysis, the report went into air quality. They analyze each particular scenario. Alternative 1, what is the impact on air quality? Alternative 2, what is the impact on air quality, et cetera, and, you know, kind of looking at what some of the recommendations are. So based on air quality modeling analyzed in section 3.1 and the table, none of the proposed alternatives would exceed a South Coast AQMD threshold regarding emissions of criteria pollutants. So which means nothing coming out of this debris is going to exceed Air Quality Management District's criteria for pollutants. Health risk. Based on the calculations and the health risk assessment, none of the alternatives will generate TAC exposure-related cancer risk or exceedance of AQMD's thresholds. So again, whatever happens at this particular facility would be monitored by the AQMD, and reports have been done analyzing the concrete in 2020 and also the concrete in 2025. And as we go deeper into this report, you would find what some of the conclusions and recommendations are. They also did a noise analysis. You heard what that machine would sound like when crushing activities are taking place on the property. That particular machine is designed to crush in urban settings. It's designed to crush in residential areas because it is not as noise intrusive as some of the other machines that are out there. Financially, it is our obligation to let the City Council know how much this is costing us. For the analysis itself, with all the recommendations, it was $78,000. We recently commissioned another test of the materials plus the soil. That is an additional $13,500. And there's an additional cost on top of this, which is the money we have to pay for the consultant to actually show up this evening to attend the City Council meeting. So what you're looking at are some of the test results. I'm going to skip through some of those technical things. just to let you know, this is how they took samples. They took 10 concrete samples, they collect and analyze for volatile organic compounds, not which were determined to contain amounts of any compounds that were above the acceptable threshold that is established by Air Quality Management District. So there might be traces of certain volatile organic compounds. Some of those actually occur naturally in the soil. And the conclusion, which is highlighted, is the amount of chromium which the 3 aforementioned samples was determined to be below the actual detection limit. So, yeah, it would have traces of chromium, but having chromium doesn't necessarily mean that this is actually a health risk. There are certain tolerances that are built into these types of analysis. And I'm doing this for transparency purposes so that, somebody doesn't say, oh, well, we're going to do a Public Records Act and we want to get all the results that you have. I'm really putting it out there so that everybody can see. And additional lab results, which were showed all the simple elements that were found. Some of them are found in nature, and it basically shows that they are at very, very limited levels, which should not be of any, generate any health concerns. So I'm going to skip, I'm going to go to the conclusion. So in conclusion, we are recommending that the mayor and the city council take the following actions. Adopt a resolution, rescinding resolution 2020-2025. If alternative 3 is selected, we have to rescind a resolution that prohibits crushing within 1,000 feet of residentially zoned property. Review the 3 alternatives in the Oxbow debris report. Select alternative 3, and then adopt another resolution ratifying that you actually selected alternative 3. And then, let's see, if the alternative 3 is selected by the city council, that the local truck urban LT96, which I showed you the video of earlier and the picture, be used to minimize dust emissions and noise. So during the operation, there will be tenting so that whatever it is that's been crushed doesn't get blown into the environment. Also, AQMD will be present during that operation. And the city manager recommends that the developer and the city work with the community on the timing of the operation. So they're just not going to wake up one day and say, yes, we're just going to go there and crush. Before any activities begin, we're going to sit down with members of the community and figure out what is the best time to do it. And then direct the city manager or designee to prepare a public outreach program for the residents of Ward 5 regarding the removal of the Oxbow debris. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Comments from council members? Councilmember Canas?
Just a question. So I know you listed the amount of truck trips as far as loads, unloads. I believe on one previous backup agenda, I saw the actual total of truck trips quantified. I don't see it on this one. Can you just clarify for alternative 1, how many truck trips total would be taken with that option?
Oh, let me quickly go there because I'm going off the.
Is it?
Councilmember Charette, can you put yourself on mic if you would like to bring that up so we can all hear?
Well, I did the math if I did it right, and I could have missed something, but it shows, I say 38 days, if we're at 1.1, alternative 1.1, 38 working days, I guess you take times the 162 truckloads per day equals 5,670. Is that the question you're asking?
It is, yes. Is
Yes.
that- Okay, so that's
That's
for-
one thing I can do is multiply
I
with the
appreciate
help of
that.
a phone.
I appreciate that. So that's 5,600 truck trips. And then for alternative two, if you wouldn't mind. No, that alternative two is different because we're doing a different process. That one incorporates what, leaving,
Yeah, there are two scenarios for alternative two.
Yeah, so alternative
Processed
two-
and the processed concrete.
So,
For
if
the
you
unprocessed
don't mind-
concrete.
yeah, because this is, alternative two involves longer working days, of 72 working days. So I would assume, is that more truck trips?
Yes,
Okay, so that's more, so we'll say it's over 5,600 truck trips for alternative two.
absolutely.
And then the owner mentioned that, let's say we haul this away, whether it's option one, or alternative one, or alternative two. He would then, in turn, have to bring material back,
Yes.
causing additional truck trips. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Fill, the fill to achieve the grading of the site, they would have to import fill to the site. So it seems kind of redundant that you're taking dirt off and then you're going to bring dirt back. So you're doubling the trip, and it actually makes the impacts double than single. If we crush on site, at least we use some of that on the project site for grading purposes or whatever other purposes there are. And if additional dirt has to be imported, it is not as significant an amount as it would be if we didn't have anything on the site at all. And as I read earlier, I think that was the intention. Now, whether or not the bringing in that particular type of material to the site at the time was the best option, that is a decision that has already been made. What we're here today to resolve is how do we get rid of this once and for all, and we've spent a significant amount of money to have third-party, unbiased groups tell us which option is the best.
No, and I couldn't agree more. And for me, I am a resident, obviously, of the 5th Ward. I live right down the street from the pile. And it is an unfortunate situation. I'm the third council person to sit in the seat as that pile of rubble has sat there. I think at this point, that's what we really are focused on, is how to remedy this situation.
Yes.
That's been longstanding now for well over 5 years. The pile should have never been brought.
Nope.
I don't think anyone would disagree with that, but here we are. So we do have to find the best solution on how we can move forward and remedy the cards that we've been dealt.
Absolutely.
So we've mentioned now the study that we've paid now almost $100,000 as far as testing of not only the concrete itself, but the soil as well. I just want to clarify, we've had to date now 3 studies. One from the actual, I think it was Greenleaf Engineering, that was required upon the actual moving the rubble from the Amazon site to the current site location on Palm Avenue. And then in addition to that, 2 additional studies have been conducted. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. So now to date, we've had three studies done. Of those 3 studies done, the results were conclusive as
Yes.
well. I want to just confirm. Did any of those studies have any variations? Or were they pretty similar as far as the findings?
The reports basically concluded that whatever contaminants, quote unquote, that were found in the rubble, they were not significant health risks, and they were not higher than the threshold that has been set by the Air Quality Management District.
And this was in all 3 testings?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So every single test was conclusive, and all 3 testing, basically, the results were pretty much the same.
Yes.
With alternative, number 3, you mentioned Air Quality Management District. I want to just confirm, the actual machines that you showed the video of, Air Quality Management District, they are responsible for the actual permitting of those machines, correct?
Yes.
So they would not issue a permit unless they feel that that machine is environmentally sound. And you mentioned that it is actually approved to be utilized in residential settings. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of similar to when you see the highway patrol pull trucks over off the road and basically inspect the brakes. It would be a similar process. For any of those machines to be used on a project site at a location, AQMD would have to do their own thorough analysis of how safe that particular machine is. If it's old, parts have to be replaced, but they wouldn't risk their reputation to recommend the use of a particular machine in a residential setting.
Got it. Thank you. My next question in regards to the Air Quality Management District and their involvement, if you could kind of just opine with these 3 studies that were done, was it the consultant that was retained? How did they interact with Air Quality Management District to obtain the results that we see?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Merrill.
So the city, in order to do the analysis, council member, we retain a company that specializes in doing the sampling at the sites. There are EPA protocols that are used whenever you do any kind of soil or water sampling. And so the company conducted sampling. They follow a certain protocol in terms of how they collect the sample in order to minimize any kind of contamination or any kind of external effect to that. In the studies, they did do 10 samples of the concrete. The most recent one that I'm familiar with did 10 samples of the concrete, 10 samples of the soil. And so they ran through the sampling process. And again, the labs are all certified by the state. They have to follow a standardized testing protocol that is issued by the EPA, approved. Otherwise, they can lose their certification if they don't follow that kind of thing. And so the results that have been presented to you indicate that there has been no chemical or any kind of materials there that would cause any kind of a health or safety issue.
Got it. So I really want to thank all staff for this, especially because you didn't just present one alternative, you actually presented alternatives to the alternative. In addition, 3 studies were completed to ensure the toxicology studies were not only comprehensive, but we repeated it recently to ensure that nothing had changed. So thank you for taking the time, $100,000 put into this to ensure the safety of us residents. So I do want to say thank you for that. For alternative 3, there was mentioned a mitigation plan. Can you kind of opine a little bit more in regards to what would that look like?
Councilmember Canals, I'm going to have to invite our consultant to the podium to discuss what a typical remediation plan would be. And Ace?
Good evening, Council. Ace Melissus with Kimley Horn. I prepared the air quality analysis for the various options. In terms of what would be involved in the mitigation plan, using, the correct equipment would be used. This equipment that's being recommended has an enclosed crusher unit, so that prevents dust from escaping. There's also sprayers that prevent, keep the dust down. There would be other, like the street sweepers that were mentioned would be part of that mitigation plan, keeping the dust off the roads so it doesn't get re-entrained back into the, to the air and the atmosphere. Covering any stockpiles with tarps, something that would be monitored, and better quality tarps than what has been used historically would be required. And those types of coverings would be, should be checked, after any storm events, any wind events, and, just periodically checked for any wear and tear. So those are some of the, suppression techniques that would be used to keep the dust down.
Thank you. One thing I would like to ask, and this would be an ask of the new owner of the Oxbow site. You mentioned some of the remediation steps that are taken to kind of contain the pile, which is the tarping of the actual concrete. Obviously, at this point, we don't know the timeline from today to when the new owner would be actually moving into the phase of actual building the new homes. One of the points of contention is that the pile has not been covered as it should for the past 5 years, I would say. I think at one point it was covered, and I will say, unfortunately, because we do have treacherous winds in the Vermont area. In addition, there is also the challenge, and we do have a lot of homeless activity. So I was surprised at some winds, some of the homeless activity that is quite prevalent that do, unfortunately, tear up the tarping and whatnot. But the onus is still on the owner to ensure that concrete is covered. So I would like to make sure that within the discussions that we're having regarding the local mitigation plan, I don't know if there's some kind of maybe contractual obligation, something that we can really hold their feet to ensure that in the time frame that it's taking between now and him to be able to actually build the house, that we do ensure that the appropriate measures are taken to remedy any negative ramifications of that concrete pile to the surrounding area.
Councilmember Knaus, that is a very important component of this process. I think as we've seen how quickly things get weathered, I've seen pictures of that mound covered, and I've seen pictures as the covering got shredded bit by bit. But I think the biggest challenge that this project has actually suffered is the rapid change in ownership. I mean, the first owner, the second owner, the third, and I think Awad is the fourth owner that I'm aware of, and each person, they understand the pile is there, they understand the situation, but taking their responsibility of actually doing something about it has been a challenge. Now that we have a new owner who is willing to work with staff, I think this is an opportunity for us to explore all the possibilities that there are. That in the meantime, as we work through the process, and the rubble is still there, let's do something about covering it. There was an incident that happened on the property over a couple of weekends ago. I got an email about it. Mm-hmm. So people who actually wanted to go to the mountains for trekking or whatever were actually gathering on the site itself. So he's going to put a gate to kind of keep people out. And I think part of the problem that I think the community has also experienced is dumping, not just the dumping from the real Oxbow dump that came out of Lagonia, but also people who just go there, pile, vacant property, they dump things, and nobody knows what is getting dumped out there. So that is why it's important to actually do that contamination test. And the results did show that there's nothing really significant. Lead was tested, asbestos was tested, and they both, were not something that was above the threshold for AQMD purposes.
For the owner, I don't see if he's still present, but do we have,
He's still here.
thank you. Depending on what the outcome is tonight, I know I can't say what it may be or may not be, but can you maybe give an estimated timeline of when you would be moving forward with the actual home building?
Okay, most of the plans were done and submitted to the city, the final map, the grading, the street improvement, the sewer, the water. So if we get the approval, we will start it immediately. If we get the approval for the grading this week or next week, we are going to start it immediately. If we don't get the approval and they want us to do something regarding the big pile, we can cover it. We can discuss any option the city wants us to do with it. At the meantime, we start putting the fence. I know the people, they use it as a park. They put their trucks there and they go to the mountain. We want to prevent them from doing that. So tomorrow I am going to take like concrete blocks that we handle it with the forklift and put it at the entrance to prevent anybody from going inside and continue fencing the property. And we can put screen on the fence to try to minimize any dust. Now, we are going to put a sign on the property with our name and our phone number and telling the neighbors that we are going to do the grading and we are going to control the dust. And if anybody see any dust coming from the site, they can contact us directly and we will have to act immediately. If we don't, the phone number for AQMD will be there. So if we don't respond immediately, they can contact AQMD and file the complaint about it.
Thank you.
Now, you're welcome. When we do the grading, we always have our water trucks over there, so the best way to minimize the dust is to spray water. We keep spraying water to keep the dust from going to the neighbors.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
If you want, I can stay here to answer any other question.
Okay. I don't know if other council will have questions, but my last question is, of the options that were surveyed or studied, I should say, of all the alternatives, I want to just confirm the most environmentally safe option, which was
3.
Alternative 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz?
We could have saved $100,000 if you would have just asked the people who showed up here tonight what option they wanted. But let's, let's do it after the fact. In 2020, the former Community and Economic Development Director handed me the environmental report that was commissioned and told me the city cannot stand by it. They told the people in Hinckley to drink the water, and then we saw what Aaron Brockovich did out there. So as far as the idea that everything is safe, everything's fine, I have a real problem with that. Because it's a slap in the face to the community to pretend like you're dealing with concrete when you have a burned out Amazon warehouse sitting at the top of the 5th Ward. And what I've done for 5 years is pull every public record I could find. And this is what's in that rubble. This is what burned. And this is in the fire report, the assessment report from the city of Redlands. Books, CDs, DVDs, toys, electronics, kitchen products, home improvement materials, baby products, musical instruments, video games, automobile supplies, grocery, health and personal care, lawn and garden, office supplies, personal computers, pet supplies, sporting goods, apparel, shoes, generators, commercial building accessories, vehicle parts, and mattresses. That was all in the fire. It took a week for that fire to be put out because of how hot it was burning with everything inside of it. And you can go on my Facebook and see what it looked like while they were demoing it, because it only cost a permit of $455 to demo that entire spot out of the city of Redlands and then bring it over here and haul it. So we're not just talking about a pile of rubble. And the people that have had to live next to this for 5 years have been breathing this stuff in. And we're just acting like we're looking environmentally concerned about trucks. You don't even have truck routes in this city. You could drive 5,000 trucks up and down Palm Avenue every single day with no restriction. And now we care about kids in schools? Where were we when they were driving up the hill? Where are we every single day? And understand, this is 5 years. 5 years of watching how the city continues to make excuses and permits. Sir back there talking about the permits. Oh, I got your permits too. Your haul permits, how the city allowed first only dirt to be transported on August 4th of 2020, and then some magic, nobody knows who signed it because the applicant did it on September 9, 2020, then changed the permit to allow for broken concrete. And the number of emails that John Valdivia was on Not to mention that the Planning Commission met on this topic at least 4 times in the previous years, and every single time refused to allow crushing and grinding in the city of San Bernardino. We would literally have to change the way that we do things to allow this. But what I really love the most, because the fun thing about this city is we do the right thing until we decide we don't want to do the right thing sometimes. And as much as everybody hates recordings and public records, those are my bread and butter. Because we filed an abatement warrant. We went to court. We literally went and had affidavits filed so we could get an abatement warrant, which we were awarded. And you know what they said? The previous Economic Development Director said, Mike Huntley, that the unlawful conditions that he identified at that subject property pose a significant risk to the life, health, and safety of the residential community within 1,000 feet of that subject property, as well as the general public, and must be abated immediately. It doesn't say that this is kind of risky. It doesn't say, hey, don't worry about it, all the ground levels are completely fine and there's no issue. This says in the city filed a court document that it posed a significant risk, and you got kids coughing? And we would ever think, let's open ourselves to any type of additional liability, any more than we've already put ourselves in, to grind stuff up and put it into the atmosphere. And don't even talk to me about trucks with a number of warehouses that have been allowed to be built in this city up and down Cajon, because that level of pollution versus breathing in silica dust are 2 completely different things. So why would we ever entertain that? For a developer? Well, hey, bud, I appreciate that you want to build in San Bernardino. I want you to build in San Bernardino, but not at the cost of any resident, because that property, as Gabriel has said, continually switched hands. And you know what the city did? Nothing. Talk about plastic. How long has that plastic been blowing down that hill? For years now. Mitigating, holding anybody responsible for blight, for overgrowth, like Henry Nichols said. What happened to all the fines and fees? Nothing. Because why prioritize the residents of the city of San Bernardino? Why ever just make them first when we can figure out how to profit and make something go away, and now crush and grind it and leave it for a property that doesn't have a TUP and the tentative tract map expired? This is ridiculous. Why wouldn't we just pick it up, put it in trucks, have it properly recycled, let him be whatever he needs to do to get his stuff up and down there? I don't care if you got to drive an extra 10 trucks to make sure that what you build your homes on, what the homes that our future residents in the city of San Bernardino will live on, is good. That what we did was right by them. And that the residents who are currently there know that we just did the right thing. Because that's all it takes, is just to do the right thing. Crushing and grinding is a slap in the face to the residents who have had to endure this, and the city at large, because you've already said it. And residents, I will make sure you have a copy of our abatement warrant that we filed in court that said that this posed a significant risk to your life, health, and safety within 1,000 feet. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Madam Mayor, just a point of correction. Mr. Japshe, our city engineer, is going to discuss the expiration of the map.
Thank you, Gabriel. Tentative map, if it expires, then they can have to go through the entire process all over again and apply for tentative map, and then bring it to the city council. 2 years for tentative map, and then once you approve it, is good also for 2 additional years.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Councilmember
Yes, can you
Canas?
confirm the current status of the tentative tract map for that site?
He just talked about it. It's good for additional.
Yeah, if it expired in, I heard previously it was expired 2 years ago. Sharif, do you have your engineer here?
Yes.
Siraj, can
Yes,
he step to
Siraj.
the podium if possible?
So, you just need confirmation, is it or isn't it?
If once the planning commission approves it, and within 2 years, it expires, yes. So Suraj is the civil engineer who submitted that plan, and he will speak directly on that item.
Yeah, I'm Suresh Dudaya from ST Engineering and Associates in San Bernardino. I was not the original engineer on the project when Oxbow was the property owner. There was another engineer that processed the tentative track map, and then subsequent to that, the improvement plans were submitted. Unfortunately, the original engineer passed away, and I was brought in by Aberdeen developers when they bought the property, and the tentative map was given extensions according to the Subdivision Map Act. So the map, and then we finalized the map, and it went through the plan check process. The Subdivision Map Act permits the map was found substantially in compliance with the Subdivision Map Act, subject to the approval of the mayor and the Common Council, and that's where it stands today. All the improvement plans have been prepared and plan checked, and it's been processed by the city engineer's office. So the final map is ready. And I was also the engineer for Sharif Awad, who built a project of 16 homes on Belmont Avenue. And so I'm familiar with Sharif and how he operates. And that's why I encouraged him to come into this project. And we worked extensively with Mr. Elliott and the city engineer in the last 18 to 24 months to bring this project to a completion so that we don't need to. And Mr. Elliott took a lot of initiative, and so as the city engineer, to bring this project to a completion, post the necessary bonds to satisfy the city, and to give assurance to the community that instead of prolonging this issue, we have to bring it to some kind of a conclusion, subject to the recommendations of the consultants that the city has hired. And we are today at this point where the developer is ready to post the bonds. He is ready to work with the staff and proceed towards construction of 43 single-family homes, which will be in the $1 million price bracket, and which will enhance the entire community of the Verdmont area instead of prolonging this issue.
So what I'm looking at from the cities is from September 18th, 2021. It says right here expired. The expiration date, June 21st, 2024, was the extension. And then you have land development status is expired on Palm Avenue and the parcel map and the parcel map number. So I can show those to you. So,
Councilmember Ortiz, once a final map has been, so a map process goes from tentative to final. So between the tentative stage and the final stage, there are certain things that have to be done. The only thing left to be done here is a posting of bonds. So the map has not expired.
so my understanding is they did not post their bonds in time, and that this tentative tract map was never finalized. So I think I want to see the records.
Sure.
Because because what I'm hearing and what is at the meetings and in the minutes and what's being posted online are two very different things.
Yeah.
And regardless, it still doesn't allow you to build houses on a burned up warehouse. So but what I'm saying is I understand that they've got a lot going on. This is very different. I mean, I have all the properties of how many people have turned this over hand by hand by hand. Why we continue to allow this property to sell and not put a lien on it and not have already cleaned this up, I don't know. But none of that is our problem. None of that. Nobody wanting to build any homes up there is our problem, when our true problem is that we have residents living next to a burned up Amazon warehouse that was dumped here illegally. And so I would have loved for the city to go first to the residents and just ask them for once, what do you guys want? But we didn't do that. I appreciate that there is an option on there to do the right thing, which is to haul this stuff away, mitigate it during the school year, so that we can, not have so much exposure with the kids and coordinate that, but I can't stand is the political amnesia, and I can't stand the rewriting of what happens here, and we just play it off like, oops, our bad. We're just gonna move forward. We can't keep moving forward if you don't address the problems in the past, because what stops this from happening here ever again?
Yeah. Councilmember Ortiz, most of those people whose names you would find on those documents no longer work for the city. They're gone. The records that I have, I searched through testimony given during a grand jury session. I have no interest in manipulating information. I am presenting information that I know to be true. I also know that regardless of how the debris got onto the site, this is an opportunity to get rid of that. And the easiest and most environmentally sensitive way to do it is to crush on site with a remediation plan under the aegis of the Air Quality Management District.
No, what matters is what the residents are asking us to do for them. I've heard the city give a lot of recommendations on what benefits the city. But what the residents of the 5th Ward came here tonight and told us was that they want us to pick this stuff up and haul it away and not expose them to anything. And that is worth more than anything else, because we're not elected by city employees. We're elected by the residents of the city of San Bernardino. And at the end of the day, while I appreciate what you're doing, I've heard this all before. I've heard it all before, and you know what? No one ever has to be responsible around here. No one has to be accountable for what they do. God forbid, right? This is the city of San Bernardino. It's why good people don't last and bad people get busted. That's it. So, Gabriel, I appreciate you and I understand your position, but I also have the testimony, a declaration in court by a guy that was sitting right where you are, who told us this was a risk to our health.
Yeah. Well, Councilman, I'm not really sure if what he was describing as a risk is the pile. I think the risk consisted of the number of trucks that were coming and going and dumping properties on and dumping things on the property.
Absolutely not.
So.
The risk was the pile. And because Gabriel, and I will make sure you have a copy of what BB&K filed in court, Sonia Carvalho, was that we need to haul it away immediately. Haul it away. It didn't say it poses a risk if you drive some more trucks up there. It says that this needs to be removed from the ground and taken away and processed, because you can't do this anywhere else but in the city of San Bernardino. And when we talk about crushing and grinding on the sides of a road, we're driving our cars. We're on the freeway when they're crushing and grinding. We're not sitting in our kitchen feeding our children breakfast or giving our parents their vitamins. We're not sitting there watching TV, breathing this stuff in. And I don't know why it doesn't matter in San Bernardino, but it seems to matter to every other resident in every other position in every other city what their government will expose them to. And I know I'm passionate about it because I really just want San Bernardino to freaking care, to really, for us just to sit up here and be like, damn, dude, we put you guys first tonight in everything that we've done. But that's not the history, and I appreciate your position. I guess you want to argue, you want not argue. You want to continue to push for what you believe the recommendation is, but I just want the people to hear. Like, you have an option. We have an option to do what you've asked us to do. And so I want to make a motion to do what you have asked us come here tonight, what I've heard from 5 years of meetings, which is option number 2, pick it up, move it away, and get it out of your neighborhood. That's my motion.
Thank you. There's a motion. Is there a second for that?
Yeah, I do have a question in regards to the grand jury report that Councilmember Ortiz is referring to.
I don't have a grand jury report.
What is the report that?
I have an abatement warrant from the city that was awarded to the city.
So the statement that you read, what is that from?
That's from the abatement warrant. It's from the declaration filed by Sonia, as well as Mike Hartley, our previous community and economic development manager.
So the statement that was read and that it was best to remove because of the toxicity, correct?
It says the unlawful conditions that were identified on the subject property pose significant risk to life, health, and safety of the residents of the residential community within 1,000 feet of the subject property, as well as the general public, and must be abated immediately. In addition, since the TUP was revoked, the materials are no longer authorized to remain on the subject property. The city respectfully requests immediate authorization to abate these conditions by removing all concrete and associated debris from the subject property. Abatement in this matter is imperative to protect the welfare of the nearby community and general public.
Thank you. Thank you for reading that. I would like to question that if anyone could, give a little bit more clarity. The statement that was made that was unlawful, can we clarify, how is it unlawful?
The unlawfulness is that no permits were obtained before the rubble was moved, period. And that's why the TUP came into place. So you wake up one day, you see trucks, just like it was testified to earlier this evening, dumping stuff on the side, and it became an issue. So the unlawfulness is not the rubble. The unlawfulness is that the action taking was not a permitted action. Just like if you built a house without a permit, the house is not a hazard. The fact that you did not get a permit would make that structure somewhat untenable.
Got it. So I want to clarify. When the concrete was moved up Palm Avenue, there was no permit that was obtained in order to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Charette?
Along those lines, it was kind of my understanding that neither the person buying the concrete and moving it up to their site, nor our side allowing that, went far enough to ask questions. In other words, can I move this concrete up there? Okay, sure, you can move it up here. Here's a permit to move it.
Yes.
So where we failed, if we did, and maybe we did, but that's 4, 5, 6 years ago, was asking, well, what are you going to do with that once you get it up there? And I think that the developer probably thought, whoa, I dodged a bullet, because they're going to make me crush it and then move it. But this is easier for me because crushed, that's fewer trucks maybe. Maybe it's more, I don't know. But the point is that we did, if I'm not mistaken, give them a hauling permit to move it up onto the property.
Yeah, a haul permit was issued, yes.
So that was permitted. So we allowed it to get up there. Then everyone started complaining about it. And then is when the problem really started to fester. And now tonight, we have an alternative to get this thing put to bed and done and get some housing, much needed housing built that we're clamoring for, trying to improve the values of our properties and improve the value of this city by building $1 million homes. And so all of this stuff is great for fodder and for, grandstanding at the dais, but we've got a problem here that needs to be done, and we could have done this 5 years ago. We wouldn't be here tonight, and it would have been a long memory a long time ago that no one would be caring about, and there wouldn't have been any problems. But because of the makeup of the council and Valdivia vetoing it and things like that, it just sat there and festered. And now we have an opportunity to fix a problem that it doesn't really matter who caused it at this point. Yeah. We've done all we possibly can to mitigate it, make sure that it's not toxic, make sure that it can be done quickly, and we can move on.
Absolutely.
And that's my position.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Ortiz?
I think we should go on along as we need to do the right thing, Fred. I don't know, how long do you want to be here? What would it take? What would it take for you to?
Let's go ahead and do the right thing.
I have a motion for us just to pick this up and move it.
Is there a second?
Will you second that?
Okay. There's a motion. Councilmember Ortiz motion to go with alternative 2. Is there a second?
I'd like to make a motion to approve staff recommendation and repeal the resolution restricting the crushing on site.
And I will second.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion for a second. I just have some clarification question. Mr. City Attorney, what
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz mentioned about reading this, and this is through, looks like Sonia Carvalho, can you confirm that statement? If there is risks involved, or?
I haven't read what the council member read from, but if she pulled it from, the court's website or got it through a public record, it probably is. The only thing that I would add to what Gabriel already mentioned is an abatement warrant typically is used to abate a nuisance. And so just going and dumping, the big concrete pile, it could be that it was a nuisance, but, and there's words, that the council member read that says harm, but it doesn't describe how. So it doesn't say necessarily that it was impacting the soil. I didn't hear any reference to air quality. And those are really the central concerns when it comes to environmental impact. And so I can't say, that the harmful word used in what the council member read from necessarily is saying that it was destroying the air quality and it was destroying the soil. It could be other things. It could be that you're stepping out of your house and you're looking just at a big concrete pile. Blight could fall in that category. Traffic of trucks can fall into that category. Unlawfulness of placing things on somebody's property without permission can fall in that category. So without having all the documents in front of me, that's what I would say.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Councilmember
well, and
Ortiz?
Mr. City Attorney, I will send it to you. Because I do want it to say that the judge signed off on this, and this is just the last thing I want to put in the public record. So it says, "You are hereby commanded in the name of the people to enter, inspect, and abate the unlawful nuisance conditions existing on the subject property as authorized by court case, blah, 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 blah. The purpose of this abatement will be to rectify any violations of the San Bernardino Municipal Code on the subject property. The abatement is authorized and commanded to include removal of all concrete stockpile and associated debris from the subject property, dispose of all concrete stockpile and associated debris." That was what the city had originally gone to do. And this is based on the declaration by economic developer Mike Huntley. So I'll make sure I get you a copy of what you guys literally filed in court for us, so that everybody can be aware of the record of which they created. Thank you.
Thank you. And final questions that I have. Alternative 1 and 2, I don't see the fiscal impact. I do see the chart. I believe that's alternative 3 only. Can staff speak to the fiscal impact for alternative 1 and 2?
Are you saying fiscal as in F-I-S-C-A-L?
If there is a cost associated.
Or physical?
Fiscal.
So none of the alternatives actually went into the cost of what the abatement process is going to be. But we do know, for example, through other studies that have been conducted, it's going to cost approximately somewhere between $300,000 to about $1 million to remove that pile from the property. And that is an analysis that has been done by other developers who are interested in purchasing that property. So there's a cost associated with that. I don't see the city stepping in and saying, we're going to pay to remove the debris. We didn't bring the debris to the site. So that is something that would have to be, negotiated with the developer as to if that is the option the city council, selects, how that is going to happen. And when that happens, how does that cost get transferred into the product that is eventually purchased on the property?
Okay, thank you. Because in the staff report, there's a fiscal impact charge of $91,500 for alternative 3.
So that is for the study.
That's the study.
Yeah, that's for the study. Okay. So it's $78,000 for the report by CSG and Kimley Horn, and then $13,500 for the 2025 lab report, 10 samples taking of both the rock pile and the soil around the rock pile, taken to the lab, studied for all these volatile organic compounds. So that's what that cost is.
Thank you. Any more comments before we move forward? Okay, Councilmember Ortiz.
If we went with option 3, why in the world would we pay for that? Why would we pay to crush and grind on someone else's property so they could build? So we're not, number 3, we would not be paying. That would be completely on the developer.
No, we're not paying for that.
Then I misunderstood what you said, because that didn't make any sense.
No, we're not paying for that.
So, all right. But, so we still have to, they would still repeal the resolution, they still could crush and grind, and.
All right, thank you. There's a substitute motion
Just
and a
one more
second.
comment, if you don't mind.
Canas?
I just want to thank all the residents of the Fifth Ward that did come out. I do want to also add that in addition to the voices that were heard today, there are many other voices of the Fifth Ward that I have heard over the course of 2 years plus in regards to Oxbow, not just the ones that were heard tonight at a podium. And I have to make decisions that are reflective and best of all of the Fifth Ward, not just a few that chose to come tonight. I want to make sure that I make note that I have taken ample time, not just through the campaign trail, but hosting community forums. We just hosted our community visioning meeting. I've opened up a community visioning survey. Not one individual has opined saying they did not want crushing, not one. Again, I wholeheartedly respect all the residents of the Fifth Ward and appreciate you guys coming out tonight, and I want that to be known. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a substitute motion and second.
Mayor, the digital voting is open.
I'm sorry?
The digital voting is open for.
Oh, it's open. Council, please vote on the digital screen.
They're voting on the staff recommendation. The option.
Mayor Pro Tem is unable to use his digital voting.
Okay.
He'll do a voice vote.
Mayor Pro Tem, okay. And Councilmember Sanchez, your vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Canas?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-1 with Councilmember Ortiz voting in opposition.
Thank you. Thank you, Council. That concludes the discussion items. We will now move on to Mayor City Council update. Councilmember Canas.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz, for always having our back. We appreciate it. You mean a lot.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to our staff for last night's State of the City. Phenomenal job. I know that it was put together pretty quickly for the time frame that was given. Kudos to you guys. We got a lot of feedback in regards to the State of the City. I know that was the first one, I think, in a couple of years.
Please, thank you.
So again, I just wanted to say thank you to our city staff for last night's State of the City. In addition, as I just stated, sitting up here, obviously I'm a council person. That's what I signed up for. But I too am a resident, a long-time resident of the Fifth Ward, a resident since 1984. I'm not new to this community. The decisions that I make here on the dais are reflective of that. I am a homeowner. I am a mother raising 2 children in that community. I don't send my kids away. My kids don't go to any other school district than San Bernardino City Unified. They attend school right in our neighborhood. So the concerns of safety are of utmost importance to me, not just as a resident, but as a mother raising 2 kids in this community. And the decisions that I make sitting here as a councilwoman will always be reflective of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes, and I don't know if this is the appropriate place to say it, but my colleagues, my colleague to the right is impressed the hell out of me over the last couple of days. She's conducted herself at to the highest standards, and you're really shining. You did yesterday, and you have today with all your questions and the decisions you've made. So it's really, you're an inspiration to me, and I think to some of my other colleagues here. I wanted to mention that Councilmember Figueroa and myself defended our title, well, at least our record, which, okay, all right, look, maybe I should come clean. We've played in 2 pickleball tournaments and the one from last year and the one this year. And between two, we've won 0 games. But the competition is pretty stiff. And so, I mean, Juan, I probably shouldn't say this publicly, but Mario and I are going to play on a team next year because I think you're the problem. Mario, are you okay? Will you accept next year? Is that a yes? So Mario, you and I are going to play next year and I hope, or Fred, yeah, or Fred. Well, Mario or Fred, one of the two. But Juan, I can't play with you again. I think so. With that said, I'm looking forward to next year's tournament already. The neighborhood association and all the volunteers, I mean, put on a world-class event. I mean, it was really good year one, but year two was a huge step up. And it goes to show you what people can accomplish when they work together and there's positivity and people aren't tearing each other down. It was a really, really good event, and I'm looking forward to next year playing with either Fred or Mario. Sorry, Juan.
Thank you. Councilman Ortiz?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say to the community that's walked out right now, like, I get your frustration. We've been there, but I appreciate everybody who showed up tonight. Like I said last night, you got to show up and speak up. It's the only way things are going to change. And, you know, this is what it is. And it's great to slap ourselves on the back while the community walks out hurt. That's kind of seems to be the message is, yay us, screw you. And that's really sad. That's really, really sad and disrespectful. So you want to just let me finish and be quiet? Thank you. So,
Councilmember, please.
Yep, you weren't interrupted. Shh, shh, hush. Thank you. So on top of that, I went to League of Cities last week, and do you want to? I'll finish. You want to finish? You want to be done?
Mayor, what's the speech?
Councilmember, you're out of turn.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're out of turn.
Remember that speech you give at the beginning of every meeting.
All council members deserve time to speak, so it's not your turn. You've already spoke, and we did not interrupt you when you spoke. So please, thank you so much. Councilmember Ortiz, please continue so we can continue.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate your professionalism. So attended the League of Cities in Long Beach, attended some really great sessions, including youth development for looking at policies that we can put into place to make sure that we are looking to the future and all of the different programming we can do. I sat in a great session on development impact fees, which I think is something that as we continue to grow, especially in the downtown, we need to look at how we are sourcing allocations for different programmings. And also able to sit with the Latino caucus, which was just magnificent. I know the majority of our community is Latino, and just watching the camaraderie in the building of Latino leaders was really great to see, along with meeting Tex Williams from the city of Barstow, a super awesome guy, and we were working on collaborating on council members who call out corruption, so we were hoping to be able to present next year or the year after on that, so that's going to be really great. This weekend was a super busy weekend. I went to the Community Urban Garden up in Uptown, which is off of Mountain View and 40th on Josiah Bruni and the Music Changing Lives. Went over to the pickleball tournament. That's some fierceness. I've never seen pickleball in my life, but there were some ladies out there that looked very aggressive. So congratulations to them. Went to Route 66 car show in the downtown. Always love the classic cars. It was just great to see the cultural vibe and everything as we're moving forward. And then attended a youth listening session at Coma Unity Center with Your Vote, Your Voice with our local high schoolers through their ADAP program. Just amazing questions talking about youth transitional housing, homelessness, economic inequality. And so just a lot of wonderful things that are going on. I've been doing some meetings up at Cal State. I had students here tonight watching us in motion, and I just want to tell everybody that this is how it works, and this is exactly what you're investing your education into. And so Cal State San Bernardino, thank you guys so much for your continued partnership, and to my students, I hope you appreciated the lesson because I told you it was going to be a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you. A few Saturdays ago, I had the opportunity to join Councilmember Fred Charette in support of some of our seniors at the Senior Center off of Highland Avenue for their indoor craft fair. It's a really good turnout, lots of great activities there. It was a breakfast as well. Just to support our seniors up in that area as well. It was nice, Fred. We shared a couple of pancakes up there and some coffee as well. It was nice getting to chat with some of the seniors up in that area as well. A big thank you and congratulations to our police department for Coptoberfest a couple days ago. That went well. And then again, also with the Neighborhood Association Council, congratulations on their great successful fundraiser. In fact, I'm still pretty sore from the pickleball tournament. My legs are still recovering. I had to go home and ice my legs that evening. It was very aggressive. And so now that I'm now that I'm a free agent, I'll be looking for a different partner. And I mean, truth be told, I think Theodore was just holding me back anyways. So proudly a free agent. I heard that the mayor won gold. So perhaps we'll do the mix. Yeah, we could do the mix next year. So I think we'll partner up for next year as well. So that is all. That is not all. I've received nothing but great compliments about the state of the city yesterday. So a big thank you to our staff, all our city employees, and everybody who had a hand in putting that together. It was so great. I received nothing but compliments from people saying that this really feels like our city is making a comeback. It felt like it had a big city vibe, and the shutting down of 4th Street with the tent and the food and the music, it really gave a sense of, it gave a big city vibe. We're making a comeback. The theater looked amazing. It was great. Everybody did a great job. Thank you so much to the employees, to the staff, and everybody else, to all the sponsors who helped put it together. And that was all. It was just a great event, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who came out, to the residents, to the businesses, and everybody, again, who had a hand in it. So thank you so much. And to my colleagues, to the mayor and to the council as well. Great job. I think we were kind of up there scrambling last minute, not knowing what to do. And I really wish I would have been able to enjoy more of the social aspect of what was going on outside. But unfortunately, we were getting mic checked and all kinds of other things that were going on inside, trying to figure out what exactly the program was going to be like. But it turned out great. And so thank you for everybody who turned out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Flores?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Last week I was able to take a tour of San Marino Valley College with the help of the San Marino Valley College Foundation. It's nice to see all the improvements that have been going on since I graduated in 2017, Valley Up. On this past Saturday, I was able to attend the community garden event also on 40th Street, accompanied by Mayor Chan. She made a quick stop by. Went to the pickleball tournament. I got to see our reigning champs in action, and our new future pickleball star in play. Yeah, give her a contract already. She's a free agent. But attended the Route 66 event, and then went to the I Am Gifted Foundation event by San Marino High School. Big works what they're doing over there, and then went back to Route 66 and gave out some awards. Some cards. I got to pick a car that I got to sponsor a trophy for. So, congrats to that Batmobile winner, and shout out to staff. Really, thank you guys for the incredible work for yesterday. We couldn't have asked for a better event. Really, it was. I saw all hands on deck, and I appreciate all the time and energy that went into it. And for today, I want to thank everyone that came out to speak, voice their concerns, the dialogue and conversation that was had on the dais. It was truly important to have, because, I mean, these decisions, there wasn't a perfect answer to everything. So it's just taking everything into consideration, using all the information that we have to make the best decision that we think that we can do. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Charette?
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations on your gold medal, or gold, or whatever you got. As gold, it was described as gold, and that's usually the best. So congratulations, and to Theodore and Juan, congratulations for showing up. You did better than I did. It was a busy weekend. There was a memorial service that I had to deal with. There was 2 car shows and, of course, the pickleball tournament, and I couldn't make them all. So it was a busy weekend. As Juan said, we did attend the Highland Senior Center for a pancake breakfast and a little, a little rummage sale, I guess is what you would call it. Great turnout out there. Our colleague, or our counterpart in Highland, Mayor Penny Lilburn, does a great job with that organization. I'm proud of it because it's in my ward, and she does a really great job and has really turned that thing into a great, great organization. So I thank her for that, and I support it completely. Did attend also the League of Cities and attended some really great, there's always good talks and good events to go in and listen to and pick up on best practices and what have you. But the real event is in the foyer and at lunchtime and at dinner time, talking to colleagues, talking to counterparts, and really establishing relationships with people from other cities, surrounding cities, and learning what they're doing. And as has been said in the past, we all are dealing with many, many similar issues. Sometimes we think ours are the worst or the most difficult, but you talk to a lot of our counterparts in other cities, and they face a lot of the same things. So it was, I believe, very successful. Last night, I can't say that it was successful enough. It was successful, and I agree. I too have had a number of comments about how well it was pulled off and how well it went. And I do think there's been comments, I think, tonight made that we were all on the same page, and indeed we were. And I think it goes to show how we are gelling and coming together as a council. Those words that were spoken by the individual council members were all their own words, and the important thing, I believe, and what I saw and what other people saw, was that our message was so much the same: unity and working together and working as a team. So I want to congratulate everybody for last night and the staff for what they did. The last item, it's over, and I'm glad to have it done, but I want to thank staff for the hard work that they did on that very difficult project that we've now kind of put to bed, and hopefully we can move on from there. And as always, we probably don't thank staff enough publicly for all that they do every day in every department. So thank you to everybody for last night and for what you do every day for this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last but me. October 8th, I attended the SBCTA General Board Directors meeting, and as well as the League of California Cities Annual Conference. I did get reappointed as the API Caucus President for the caucus, and I did moderate a session on preparing local leaders for immigration policy changes. So that was a very interesting session, a huge turnout too as well, so it was very engaging. On October 11th, I participated in the NAC pickleball tournament, the first one. I had to give a big shout out though to Layla and her husband. They did give us a one-on-one because I had no idea what pickleball was about. That was my first time playing. I begged my daughter to play with me. We both did not play pickleball. Yes, and we won 4-0, and we got the gold. So now I would love to play mixed double with our Mayor Pro Tem, because I don't know if my daughter will say yes again next year. So thank you for taking that on. We'll do a mixed double. All right. After the pickleball tournament, but again, shout out to NAC. You guys did a great job. Let's keep that momentum going, because having a community active lifestyle event was really beautiful. After that, I attended the Route 66 with the family, so a big shout out to the Chambers for putting that on, as well as Heather and Jeff Farrell, who really passed out the awards, and Councilmember Flores and I was able to participate in that, so it was a very beautiful event for the community, and lots of community pride from that event. I want to remind everyone that DNA, Downtown Neighborhood Association, is hosting their San Bernardino cleanup. I believe the president was here earlier and mentioned it, but October 18th at 8 a.m. I'll be there. Hope to see many of you. So throughout the city, there's a huge effort to clean up our city and beautify our city. District 43 Little League is hosting their annual Trunk of Treat on October 18th, this Friday, 6 to 9 p.m. at 6707 Little League Drive. Hope to see you all there with the little kiddos. The city is hosting their annual Trick-or-Treat Spectacular on October 25th from 5 to 9 p.m. at Alcalde Park, 3664 Little League Drive. Hope to see you all there. On October 31st, Kendall Hills Neighborhood Association is hosting a Halloween parade at 5:30 p.m. on October 31st. I just said that twice. The parade starts at Irish Street and Astor Street and ends at Clemson Street and Sheridan Road. So hope to see you all there. On November 1st from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. and November 2nd from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., the city will host Dia de los Muertos at Court Street Square, 349 North East Street. Please join us for art, ofrendas, live entertainment, food vendors, and children's activities. As many of, well, we've all said it, the State of the City was a hit. My phone blew up too. Lots and lots of compliments, so thank you, staff, for making this such a grand event. And the fact that the sponsors, thank you to all the sponsors. We raised almost, I believe, $100,000 to make this event free for the community. So huge shout out to sponsors for making that happen for our community. Thank you, thank you. And as well as, I'm going back a little bit, Coptoberfest from the police department. I did attend with my kids and my family. Beautiful. Shout out to the police department. Wow, wow, wow. The kids loved it. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing for our community. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I'm going to go back to you. Okay. One last thing I want to close out is that I want to take a moment to recognize two important causes that touches the lives of so many in our community for the month of October. October is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a time to honor survivors, support those currently fighting, and remind your loved ones lost. Early detection saves lives, and we stand with all who are impacted by the disease. October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This is a reminder that no one should ever feel unsafe in their own home. As a city, we are committed to raising awareness, supporting survivors, and working together to break the cycle of violence. And thank you to all the organizations, advocates, and community members who work every day to bring hope, healing, and strength to others. And that concludes my update. Councilmember Ortiz, did you want to?
Yes, my apologies, just real quick. There's a community health fair this coming up Saturday from 1:30 to 4:30 from All Nations Churches off of Pumalo, 2282. And then Acoma Unity Center through their Golden Age Club is hosting a breast cancer awareness walk this Saturday at Ann Sherrill's Park beginning at 8 a.m. So thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, the meeting is now adjourned at 8:55 p.m. The next joint, don't leave yet, I need a quorum to close this out. The next joint regular meeting of the Mayor and City Council and the Mayor and City Council acting as the successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency and the Mayor and City Council acting as the San Bernardino City Housing Authority and Mayor and City Council of the City of San Bernardino acting as the San Bernardino Joint Powers Finance Authority will adjourn to the regular meeting to be held on November 5th, 2025 at the Feltime Central Library located at 555 West 6th Street, San Bernardino, California, 92410. Closed session will begin at 4 p.m. Open session at 5.